a shit show. And there we are. Hello, everybody. This is the 22nd episode of Magnum Opi Wilhelm Tell by Friedrich Schiller. How is everybody?
We're
Yeah,
all
all
good.
right. Winning.
Well,
All the funds.
so how? Yeah. Did you know anything about Friedrich Schiller?
Nope.
The ice cream van's back.
God damn it. Go away!
You can mute yourself anyway.
Oh, yeah, fuck.
It might be the most entertaining part.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well,
No, I knew nothing about Freddie.
Freddie, yes. Well, he's considered one of the most important German playwright, poet, and essayist, and he is close to Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, which is which is the best German writer of all time, at least at the moment. And Schiller and Goethe were close friends.
He's got a strong nose.
Very strong one. Yeah, and with the book he wrote and which one we read, he basically helped to create the national myth of my country, Switzerland.
Oh.
As in this play.
Yes, exactly. The story of Wilhelm Tell is mostly true, or at least there was at one point a person called Wilhelm Tell, but Friedrich Schiller dramatized it and popularized it very much so. But with this being a myth, maybe similar to maybe your Anglos can understand it. King Arthur is
Mhm.
also a mythical myth, but Tell existed for real. But there's it's very hard to how you call it, to say what is completely true and what is made up by Schiller.
Yeah,
But
just
it's
separate.
based on true events anyway. Yes, sorry, what you wanted to say?
Yeah, just yeah, it's hard to separate the myth from the truth.
Indeed. And the themes that were brought up, of course, were Wilhelm Tell, who's who's the hero, and he's also national hero, which I will mostly focus in this presentation. The other theme is called the Apfelschuss, meaning the apple shot in English, where Tell has to shoot off the apple from the head of his little boy. The Tellskapelle, where the Tellsprung happened, basically where Tell got off the boat where he was sent to be incarcerated, and the Rütli-Schwur, or the Rütli Oath, where they conspired to basically make Switzerland, or the old confederacy of the three cantons, Urisch, Wiedz und Unterwalden. Or Obwalden, I don't know. So yeah, and because of his story, the theme of Tell got popularized. So you can see on the upper right hand side, you can see the apple shot, and obviously below that the Tell Kapelle, the Tell Chaplain.
Obviously, the if people know I knew anything whatsoever, it's going to be the apple shot.
Indeed, wasn't
in this country anyway? I mean,
yeah, wasn't it parried by Monty Python?
I mean, until I'd never seen that sketch before in my life until I searched for it, for this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that well known. It's not like but the apple shot in general is well known. If I think people probably don't know anything about William Tell apart from that.
Indeed.
I had no idea he was. I had no idea he was anything to do with the Swiss.
Okay.
I mean, did you, Alex?
I did not know.
No.
Okay. A little bit on the background. Um, 1291, the Bundesbrief was written, basically the federal charter. You can read that up in German as well. Most of you won't speak German, but if you try anyways. Um, because the original was written in Latin, and it's basically something akin to the American Constitution, I guess, or the Swiss Constitution in this case. And the background for that was that Schwyz, Unterwalden, and Uri, the Urkantone, so Kantone, by the way, are like states, built this defensive alliance so they can harp back to the freedoms that they enjoyed from the Habsburg, or how you call it, Habsburg?
I
At
don't
least
know.
is what
What's Habsburg?
the Austrian power during the
Right.
Middle Ages or early Middle Ages. And as you can see on the map, everything in this pinkish color was a power, or was in the power region of Habsburg.
Right.
And very quickly after that, the Bundesbrief in 1315, there was the first battle against the Habsburgs, and the Swiss won, I think, very decisively. And yeah, basically established Swiss independence. And
Well, what
from
were they? What were they ethnically?
ethnically,
Yeah, the Swiss were. What were they? I mean, was it? Are they more akin to like the Austrians, or was it the own? Were they their own thing? Or
I guess you could call it their own thing, but not really. The problem with that is, but there's also a lot of those areas where Austrians influenced, or modern day Austria influenced, or what is modern day the state of Austria influenced, and German as well. For example, there are some similar traditions in Bayern with Austria. For example, the Lederhosen. Those are similar traditions. And the Appenzeller have a similar tradition with leather hosen, I think, as well, but they don't look the same.
what about yodeling?
Yeah, exactly. They have something, and the Alpenhorn, I think it's called, where they make music with them, and they are very, very loud. But
Like a
yes,
bit of yodeling. Can
Yep.
you yodel?
no, I cannot.
Hmm.
And I
It's quite
can't very well sing as well. And if you see, Switzerland to the south is very well protected. You have a lot of passages over the mountains where you have to go through. Modern day Gotthard is a big one, which was also heavily defended and fortified during World War II and World War One against the Italians.
I want to keep the Italians out.
Yep. So a little bit of background that. And what's also interesting, a lot of those parts are heavily Catholic and still are to this modern day. And yes. Did you know any about that? I assume not, but
Nope.
No,
okay.
We have been enlightened.
Yeah, well. Okay, on to the summary. Since Bishop is not here, I will have to do that. Basically, the book is written for playwrights or a theater part, and this is sometimes why it's oddly written. But the opening scene is Konrad Baumgarten flees from soldiers because he killed Wolfschießen, who threatened his life, and how you call it, wanted to defame his wife, and Tell ships him over the lake during a storm. This is a common phenomenon in Switzerland. It's called Föhn, which is basically a heavy wind, and this can make the lakes very turbulent and very dangerous. And yet, then the scene jumps into where the citizens of Uri are forced to build a strong fort for the Habsburgs. they try to win Tell for the cause of freedom from the Habsburg powers and getting back their old freedoms, as we alluded for in the beforehand. Um, to mark his power, the Habsburg, the guy who is sent from Habsburg, establish a lance with a head on it as a signal of his powers. And the Urkantone Vertreter want to conspirate against him because they see their old freedoms, how you call it, their old freedom deprived.
Yeah.
So the conspirators meet up in a moonlight scene to join oath on the Rütli to throw the Habsburg out of the countries, which is basically the Rütli-Schwur. And it was on the 1st of August, and this is why we still light on the 1st of August. In Switzerland, we light big bonfires on the hills we have, or the mountainside. Then the scene switches. Tell goes to town with his son, and he does not salute the lance that is established by the Vogt. And the Vogt is called Gessler. He forces to shoot an apple from his son's head to save both their lives.
Like, is any particular reason?
Sorry, what?
Why does he get forced to do that?
Yeah, it's basically like you have to greet your higher ups. For example, if you have a bishop, you have to greet him. And he put his head there as a symbol of his power, so they have to greet the head, and this is interpreted as tyranny. So he has to shoot, as said beforehand, he has to shoot the apple off his son's head, basically common, and this is called the apple shot or Apfelschuss. And Gastler, so the Vogt, sees him picking up 2 arrows out of his quiver, which he tells why he did it, and he basically says if I haven't hit the apple, I would certainly have hidden him, which he basically sees as a threat and takes Tell as a prisoner, despite him promised him beforehand that he would go free. And then Tell is shipped off to Küsnacht. Küsnacht was, I think, a strong fort as well. During this deportation, Tell escapes, which is called Tellsprung, and whereas modern day is the Chaplain, the Tell Chaplain. He lures the Vogt Gessler up and kills him. And basically, all of this is resolved because the Habsburg king is murdered by his nephew, and the nephew comes through Tell's place, and tells him to repent or go to Rem to repent his crimes. Yes. Do you have anything to add, or does it at least make a little bit sense, or
Somewhat?
I think
somewhat?
So. Yeah.
Okay. Onto the characters. Konrad Baumgartner. Basically, he flees from the law. Do you have anything to say about him?
Not really.
Nope.
Okay. Do you think his act was justified or not?
I couldn't possibly comment.
Was this within the first 40 pages of the book?
Yes, it was. It's the opening scene.
Oh, Christ. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. What was his act?
Yeah, the opening scene is where he's shipped over the lake.
No, nothing's ringing a bell. Nothing is absolutely ringing a bell.
There was something about some sheep.
Yeah, there's at one point some sheep mentioned. So, yeah, basically, I think if somebody threatens to defame your wife or something like that, you are justified in killing them
Handy to
or
know.
wolfschießend.
Mm.
So yeah. If you have nothing to add, I will go on to the next
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Keep going. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wilhelm Tell, he is from Uri, one of the Ur cantons. He is a shepherd and he's basically a Swiss national hero. And the scene, how you call it, a crossbow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's depicted as an bow and arrow, but all the pictures I know are of a crossbow.
Yeah. So your national hero is kind of like a shepherd, protector of small fluffy things, turned, more of a badass. I suppose shepherds would have had to have been a bit more hardcore back then, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in the book it's also mentioned where he had to save a sheep off a cliff,
Mm.
which I guess is more. is- you have to have some guts about you. But I also it mimics some parts about the Bible where shepherds are put in certain roles and they do certain things.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, I mean, you kind of think of shepherds now, but back then, they would have, like I say, they would have had to have been a bit more hardcore.
Indeed. And a lot of the inner Switzerland is pretty much a rough country.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of mountains, a lot of steep cliffs, and if you want to survive in that back then, you had to have some wits about you.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Good beard.
yeah. Do you know of any depiction of him, or have you seen him before, or something like that?
No, I mean,
Nope.
the William Tell kind of depictions are usually, he looks something akin to like our Robin Hood or something.
Mm-hmm.
Guy with a funny hat and tights.
That was fashion back then, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next slide. Yeah, the scene where he shoots off his son, or the apple off his son's head. I think there's deeper meaning in that, or at least it's mentioned as well that father that sees his son dies, or sees, or no, back when a father sees his son die, that is very much a tragedy. But a father that has to kill his son as well, that's or at least a father that kills his son in an accident is very much a tragedy.
Mm. But he doesn't.
So yeah, he doesn't, but he's almost forced to.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, did they expect him to miss?
yeah. I think he's about 100 paces away, so that or 80 paces. That's about 80 yards. And to
And it
shield.
and it was to appease this higher up.
Now he's forced to shoot the apple off his head because he basically in the moment he disrespects, or how it's seen as disrespecting the authority. He has to do that. So yeah,
Right, I get you. And the thing with the second arrow is that the idea is that he was going to shoot the guy after he'd done whatever.
yeah.
I see.
Cool. Do you see anything, or maybe as a parent, how would you react in a scene like that, or could you only imagine?
I wouldn't do it. Simple as.
Simple as, okay. Yeah, basically about Heidig, his wife. He's Walter First's daughter, which is basically a higher up in, I think, Uri as well. And yeah, she has a bad inclination that something happens to him before he leaves. So that's maybe a testament to woman's foreknowledge, or if a woman says something to you out of random, you probably should listen.
Mhm.
But
Nah.
it's hard to do because women also a lot of shite. But yeah, why are you laughing?
Women's intuition. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Never true word has been spoken.
Yeah, well, the women, they're just they're very risk averse. You can't listen to them that much. You never get anything done.
Yeah, well, that's true, but sometimes they say something that is true, and it will bite you in the ass, or at least I had those moments.
Yeah, well, broken
Yeah.
clock and all that.
Okay, if you just boil it down to that.
I'm joking. Carry on.
Okay, Hermann Gessler is basically the evil one in this book. He's the Reichsvolk or the imperial bailiff. I couldn't say that beforehand, so I didn't. In Schwyz and Uri, the cantons. So yeah,
So imperial, as in like whoever's in charge at that point.
indeed. So I think
So
to make an analogy, he the Normans basically conquered England, and you could imagine him as sent one from the higher ups there. So yeah,
So is he Austrian then?
modern day in Austria, yeah, but
Yeah.
he's from Habsburg, or however you call it in English correctly.
Yeah. So was he supposed to just collect money from the provinces or whatever?
Reichsvolk, yeah, he's basically how you call it? It's a reverse one from a senator. He's not he's not supposed to represent the state or canton. He's basically sent from the empire to region. How you call it?
Yeah.
A manager
Yeah.
basically of a region.
Bloody
So,
managers.
Baron?
Yeah, Baron, for example. Yeah, and he tries to build a fort or a stronghold, which you can still see today in
Ah,
Uri. I don't know what it's called, but yes,
Yeah, you can never trust the managerial types.
I assume so. Yes. Anything else about this character?
Nope.
nope.
Okay. Well, there we are through basically the book already. Or the main character. This is the critical or the popularity with the Uraufführung, or basically when the play was first played. This is in English, so the popularity of Tell peaked in the 1900s, and he was never as popular since then. So I assume this is maybe a reason why you never heard of him.
We heard of him, but it's just like I say, you know the name and you know the thing about the apple being shot off his son's head, but that's about it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's kind of like the main thing with the pop culture for that.
There's like no other kind of there's nothing else there other than the fact that some guy called William Tell shot an apple off a kid's head.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the start and finish of it.
Okay, and this is basically the same one for German. So the popularity peaked in the 1940s, maybe.
So what about the music then? Because I'd say the music's probably more famous.
Yeah, there was a playwright as well, but I just googled the book. So this is basically just Wilhelm Tell, not Wilhelm Tell by Friedrich Schiller. So yeah, but I guess in this book there's also the theme of positive liberty and negative liberty. So if you have a right to simply be free, or if you're free, you have responsibilities. Since both of you haven't really read the book, you couldn't comment, right?
No.
But I agree with the statement. Yeah, so like the modern day idea is you can get away without both. The people want both. They want to cut it both ways. They want the responsibilities. They don't want the responsibilities, but they want the freedoms.
Indeed.
Essentially.
But the Bundesbrief or the Federal Charter isn't really that. It's simply how the cantons have to monitor between themselves, and it's pretty harsh basically. And it's only a few phrases. So yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
How did you like the parts you read, or no, not, or yeah?
I will read. I'm going to read it this next week, I think, because like I said, I've been ill, so that's my excuse.
Well, it pretty much was just setting up for the character, and I think the jarring part was the fact that it's a play, so it doesn't read as as plainly as a book would. It's in a narrative. You kind of like you're hearing it in your head in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Was it disturbing for you, or didn't you like it, or
Disturbing.
disturbing? Maybe. Was it off-putting? Maybe it's the right
It was
word.
jarring. Jarring would be
Sure.
the correct way about it. Because again, a play versus a book.
Not something you. I did suggest we act it out.
I swear to God, James.
Yeah, and another problem for you, because this is one of the few books, or maybe the only book I read in German for a long time, maybe 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a playwright. Faust will be in a similar matter, and Nibelungenlied as well. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah. It's some parts are poetic or rhyme, some
Yeah.
parts not. So yeah.
I suppose, and that's not necessarily going to translate, is it?
Yeah, and it's both of them are, or at least Wilhelm Tell is one of the classics in Switzerland. Everybody, as you say, everybody knows the theory of Tell, but nobody read the main source, for example. So I wanted to read it. Faust is a similar case. Everybody talk or Faust, Faustis, Faustas, Faustienes, but no, it seems like nobody actually read it. So we will do that, or at least I will. So yeah. And yeah, the main point was there an English translation or anything? Did you found one or not?
It was just that one file you put in from the Gutenberg thing. That's the thing I read the first 40 pages of.
But there aren't any English books?
No.
Okay.
And if you wanted to get an audiobook, it's still all in German.
Okay. And
most it doesn't sound like it. For some reason, there's only a very small part of it which seems to have got into the British English culture.
And maybe that's the main reason why it's only in the 90s or the 1900s, early. That would be an interesting story why it was popular then. But I wouldn't know, so yeah. So, well, that was a quick one. On to the next book. Dune will be on the 6th of March. And yeah, I hope more people have read it and or in this stream so we can talk about
it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is the progress on Dune?
I've not started it yet.
I've not started it yet. I've bought it. I haven't started it yet.
Okay.
I have acquired it too.
In audiobook form or paper form?
It's audiobook. What do you think I am? But yes, and the first half of the new film is very enjoyable as well.
Yeah. Is the movie anything to go by?
The movie the new movie. I've not seen the other adaptations, but the new one so far so good. But I don't think the next half is coming out till next year. So
okay,
I think it's in 2 sections, maybe 3. I don't know, but no, I'm pretty sure it's 2, and it's not. Yeah, the second one isn't coming out till next year. So it seems like a long time to have to wait.
By all cases, my father knew about the book Dune. He watched an old movie adaptation of it, so I was quite surprised by that. But yeah,
well, there's the old one with what's his face? What you call him? David Bowie in it.
David Bowie.
Yeah, I think he was in the old in the 70s one.
Really?
I could be horribly wrong. I thought it was. Maybe not.
Are you on about the David Lynch one?
Nope. Let's have a look. Dune, 1984.
Was Bowie? No, he was not. There.
No, he wasn't. All right then.
That was very
I
good.
made that up. What am I thinking of then? Oh, it's got Patrick Stewart in it. Oh, it's got Sting in it. That's almost David Bowie.
But it's not, though, is it?
Well, a blacker version of Sting of David Bowie.
Okay. If you have any, do you have any closing remarks or?
No,
No, funny enough.
Okay. Then it was. I wish you happy Sunday and until in about a month, right? Or 3 weeks? No, 3
3
weeks.
yes, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Goodbye.
Boy.
Goodbye. Bye, everybody. Ta-da.